I've just upgraded my sim racing setup with a 1080p monitor. Like, surely this can't be the case, but I've just done it and I genuinely believe it's an upgrade. So I'm going to explain it to you in this video. I'm going to show you my old setup and then my new setup and then the surprising way in which the 1080p I think just is a better fit. So this is good news if you're looking for a sim racing monitor perhaps. Right, so this is my current setup here. As you can see, it's a Fanatec Clubsport Cockpit, which is quite a nice cockpit, except the adjustability is not that easy to do. It's really hard to like access bolts are like on the inside of the frame in between stuff. Hopefully they fix that with a V2. And I bought a massive TV for it. This is a TCL or a Hisense, a TCL like 50-inch TV that does 144 Hertz. So it's a high refresh rate TV. And I thought this is going to be absolutely fantastic because it's going to be super immersive, okay? So I thought I'm going to spend £500 on the TV and it's going to be amazing. But let me show you the problem here as I bring this. You might think it's all glamorous, you know, shooting videos, but it ain't always. Okay, I've jumped into the cockpit. Let me show you the problem. So this is my big 50-inch TV on the Fanatec Clubsport Cockpit. And the first issue, and by the way, this is the car that I drive every day in real life at Brands Hatch in Gran Turismo. And actually tomorrow I'm going to be driving this car at Brands Hatch in real life. So it should be the perfect test of how immersive this is, right? Like literally the perfect test. But as I go here, you can see that my eye line, so my eyes are here, basically hit the coolant level and the fuel level. Like if I'm generous, maybe I'm slightly under that. And what that means is that the horizon is actually well above my eye line. So I have to be tilted up a little bit, or I have to use parts of my vision or crane my neck in ways that are not natural. It also means that stuff up here is just like really not comfortably in my vision at all, which is kind of annoying. So there's a lot of real estate that's gone to waste here. It's hard for me to see the UI. Also, as a 4K monitor, if I want to push this on a PC at 144 Hertz, that's going to be difficult. Now here I'm on the PlayStation, so it doesn't matter, but for PC sims, it's going to be tough. Now you can do funky stuff, I think in the TCL, like, you know, using a remote control where you can try and make it an ultra wide, but I think you lose the super high refresh rate or the G-Sync or stuff like that. So it's not very native. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work. Now, the reason why I can't lower this monitor anymore is because it hits my cockpit. And I don't think that's unique to this cockpit. I think that'd be most cockpits. I've got the adjustments for the wheel deck here. And also the wheelbase itself is only got like a couple of millimeters clearance. So there's really not too much I can do here, which is a real shame because I would love to drive on the shifter here and have a one-to-one experience to what I'm doing at the track and then practice more here and then go back to the track and stuff like that would be absolutely fantastic, but it's just not going to work. So unfortunately, I haven't really worked out big screens yet on sim rigs. This one isn't really working for me, which is a massive shame. Right, let's go over to my new 1080p monitor. Okay, welcome to my 1080p cockpit, and like I said, I think this could be better than my 4K cockpit, but you let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments. And this whole setup did not exist until a couple of days ago, and the reason for that is two companies got in touch with me separately asking if I wanted to try out their products in sim racing. One was Immersion, who I'd never heard of, and one was Playseat, who I had heard of, obviously, with my Playseat challenge. Now, I've got to be honest with you, originally I wasn't jumping up and down to build another setup when I already have my big 4K setup here, and I've got limited space. But I thought it's super cool to try new stuff. There's no money has changed. I haven't been paid here. There's no money changing hands. So I can be completely honest with you and I can compare and contrast it to my existing setup. And that's exactly what I'm doing now because I found it very interesting. So the monitor that Immersion sent across is this big 49-inch super ultra wide, whatever you want to call it, and it's 1080p. And I assumed that this was going to be blurry. I assumed actually that this would be no good for sim racing. Like it would just be too smeary and blurry. It'd be like going back 10 years in time. It was going to be like a cheap, like these monitors and this rig definitely is not cheap, but it'd be like a cheap way of getting like a VR-esque experience. But I have to say, and I don't know if it's because the monitor is so vertically short or something, but this is pin sharp. Like this is super crisp for me. And it must be because it's just so narrow that maybe the pixels are smaller as well or something. I can't quite put my finger on it. So with that concern out of the way, I can now enjoy the benefits of the monitor without having to worry about what I thought would be a big drawback. And the obvious benefit is this massive field of view. And this is a completely different experience to what I just showed you on my big 4K monitor. And there's something that I experienced in this monitor that I've never experienced on a monitor before. I've only ever experienced in virtual reality. And that is the complete intuitive, instinctive understanding of where my tyres are, particularly obviously in open wheel cockpit cars, in relation to curbs. And I feel like that massively helps me to maximize exits because I can run my outside tyre on the exit curb. So I'll try and drive a little bit slowly here so I can show you what I mean. But like, it's very easy for me to understand here that my tyre is going to hit that curb, my tyre is going to hit that curb, and that's as far as I want to run. So my tyre's on the exit. Whereas when I'm in a 16:9 monitor, I don't know if it's because I just don't have the field of view, or maybe it just feels a bit more cramped, but it's hard to be as intuitively precise as that. Obviously you can focus, and you know, when you're time trialing, by trial and error you understand where to place your car, but this is just way more intuitive. And when you combine it with some good force feedback, so i.e. that you can feel what your tyre is on, whether that's true force or full force or whatever, it's a really enjoyable driving experience. And I've had some of my most fun sim racing already in this setup on a 1080p monitor, which is kind of crazy. So what am I giving up by having a 1080p monitor? Well, I'm giving up having 4K graphics, but the compromise there is that I'm running this at 170 FPS, which is pretty crazy because again, it is 1080p, albeit it's probably like, I think it's 380/40 wide. So it's like 4K wide, but it's 1080p tall. It doesn't, I don't think it really conforms with the usual understandings that we have of pixels and resolutions, is my hunch. This does feel like a bespoke sim racing monitor. It has a very gentle curve as well, not too aggressive curve, but a gentle curve, which again, I just feel sort of helps bring it here. I've raced on monitors with really aggressive curves, and sometimes that can become a bit of a claustrophobic feature a little bit when the monitor's really coming at you, but this is a very gentle curve. So yeah, high refresh rate, 1080p, my PC runs great on it, it's pin sharp to me. I don't really have any complaints about this as a sim racing monitor, because I've mounted it directly on this rig. To me, it feels like it takes up way less space than my 4K monitor, which I had to mount on the external cockpit mount there, which is pretty crazy. Now again, I'm running this monitor as low as I can go. You can see here the base won't kind of like allow me any more clearance there. I also can't really bring this monitor forward, but again, I just wonder. I'm very happy with this position. I assume that the monitor would be quite high. It might be a long way away as well, and it would just feel awkward. But I don't know if I got lucky with my field of view settings or something. You can see probably when I turn in here that my dude in the car, his hands basically have the same footprint as my hand in real life when it comes to my vision, which is pretty crazy. And again, I'm running this on the Fanatec podium. I'm running my V3 pedals on here. I'm running the brand new Fanatec Clubsport V3 Formula wheel. Like, the equipment's all top notch, but it is a top notch experience. So yeah, 1080p monitor, ultra wide, worth a look. Obviously, I know 1440p ultra wides are really popular as well, but I don't see here why I would get a 4K ultra wide. But let me know in the comments if I'm missing something. As we have a massive accident. Oh no, well, my tyre is no longer there, as I can see. So let me know if you agree or disagree. 1080p setup or 4K monitor setup? Which one would you use? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.